Some of the challenge problems, these will be more on like that last page of your honors test. Okay, so something like this, a challenge problem, I would like you to again simplify. Okay, I want you to simplify negative 6x to the 0 minus 3x to the 0 minus 3 squared over x to the 0 plus 2 cubed. So negative 6x to the 0 power minus 3x to the 0 minus 3 squared divided by x to the 0 plus 2 cubed, 2 to the 3rd. So first thing you want to do here is simplify these x to the 0s. So anywhere you have an x to the 0, we're going to write times 1. So anywhere you have x to the 0, it's times 1. This x to the 0 becomes just a 1. There's nothing else attached to it, so it's just a 1, so you're not multiplying anything by 1. Then I actually want to work these out. Okay, so negative 6 times 1 gives you negative 6. Negative 3 times 1 gives you minus 3. And negative 3 squared. What is negative 3 squared? Okay, there's a big difference between negative 3 squared and negative 3 squared. Say them the same way. But remember, exponents go with what's below them. So this one, only the 3 is below it, so it stays negative. This one, it goes to both the negative and the 3, so it is a positive 9. Make sure you know the difference. Okay, so here, it's minus 9. Over, there's a reason we keep this 1, because 1 plus 2 to the 3rd is 8. Okay, if you canceled this out, you would lose that 1 and you would make a mistake there. Okay, so if you work this out, negative 6 minus 3 minus 9 gives us negative 18 over 9, and that reduces to be negative 2 as an answer. Okay, these are the types of problems that you will see at the end of your test. Okay, in case you guys didn't realize or didn't know this, we always take the regular test and then add some problems to it. Okay, so you are taking the same test as everybody else, but I'm adding problems. Okay, try another one. Again, I want you to simplify. 7 times brackets, in parentheses, 3 to the negative 1 plus 4 to the negative 1. Close your parentheses. To the negative 1, close your brackets. So 7 brackets, parentheses, 3 to the negative 1 plus 4 to the negative 1, raised to the negative 1, close your brackets. Okay, you're going to have to go back to like 7th grade or 6th grade, whenever you learned order of operations. Remember, PEMDAS, PEMDAS. Parentheses. What does parentheses actually stand for? What does it mean?
Distribute.
So what I was going for was you have to do what's inside the parentheses. Okay, so it does not mean distribute the negatives into the parentheses or distribute the exponents. That is an exponent. Okay, you have to actually do what's inside these parentheses. So here, this would become 7 times, what is 3 to the negative 1? Oh, 3 to the negative 1 is not negative 3. It's not 0.3 either. It's 1/3. Okay? We're not changing to decimals here. 3 to the negative 1 is 1/3. Plus 4 to the negative 1 is 1/4. Okay? If you don't see that, make it a fraction. Okay? Make it a fraction and then move it. And then hopefully you can see that it would be 1/3 and 1/4. Now, these are raised to the negative first power. Now, this is where it really comes into play. You have to do what's inside the bars before you can, inside the parentheses, excuse me, before you can take it to the negative first power.
Why the parentheses go away?
You mean the brackets?
No brackets, no.
Oh, well, it's the same thing.
Okay.
It just, they're not quite necessary anymore, sorry. Okay, how do I add fractions together? What do they have to have? Common denominator. Okay, so what is the common denominator between 3 and 4? 12, okay. So 1/3 written as a denominator of 12 gives you 4, plus 1/4 written as a common denominator of 12 is a 3, raised to the negative first still. Now let's actually do what's inside of these. So you're going to have 7 times 7 over 12 to the negative first. Now you can actually do distributing the exponent, right? You do not multiply through first. Multiply comes after exponents. So this one goes to the top, this one goes to the bottom. So really this becomes 7 times 7 to the negative 1, 12 to the negative 1. What we end up doing here is flipping this, okay? Negative exponents flip problems. So this is really going to become 7 times, if you flip that, it's 12 over 7. Then you can actually multiply. These reduce each other away, and your actual answer is 12. Okay, so these are more challenging, for sure. Okay, these are for sure more challenging. Okay, now I want to show you one more that will be the difficulty level of your test. In parentheses, 2 to the negative 3 plus 1/3 raised to the negative 2, all raised to the negative 1. 2 to the negative 3 plus 1/3 raised to the negative 2, all raised to the negative first power.
What is that, Nick?
So remember, we have to do what's inside those parentheses first. Okay, so let's take care of this 2 to the negative 3. If I make that a fraction, you want to move any negative exponent to the opposite side. Okay, so when you rewrite that, that's going to be 1 over 2 to the third. Plus, here you want to distribute these exponents. Okay, so if you distribute that exponent, that's going to become 1 to the negative 2 over 3 to the negative 2. And all inside here is raised to the negative 1. Now, before you can add these together, we can't add with negative exponents, so you're going to have to move those. So those are going to flip sides. If you flip over, you're still going to have 1 over, now what is 2 to the third power? 8. So I'm just going to rewrite that, okay? Plus, here, this is going to become 3 squared over 1 squared. The 1 squared part on the bottom really doesn't matter. It's going to go away, but we'll write it. Okay, then simplify that a little bit more. 1/8 plus, what is 3 squared over 1 squared? Just 9, okay? All raised to the negative 1 power. Again, we're still inside, so it's going to give you 9 1/8. 9 1/8 raised to the negative first power. Can you do that?
Sure.
Not quite yet. What do you have to do? Make it an improper fraction. Okay, so before you can add these, usually if you had 2 fractions, you knew you would have to get common denominators, okay? We don't usually do that when we're adding a whole number in a fraction because we can just add it, okay? Here, you now have to make that an improper fraction. So improper fractions, you take the big number, multiply by the bottom, add the top. So 9 times 8 gives you 72, plus 1 is 73 over 8, all raised to the negative 1 power. And if anything's raised to the negative 1 power, you can distribute it, just like what we did up here, or you can just realize that anything to the negative first power flips the entire fraction. So this entire fraction, will be flipped over, and you'll get 8 over 73 as an answer. That's the answer that we're looking for.